People who take massive war crime level dumps in public bathrooms but don't flush. Why? I did this once because I had no choice. I had to be somewhere early for work that was 5 hours away. So I'm driving this whole time, before sunrise, drinking coffee, a little nervous for this work thing, and now I have to speak bad. I find a random Denny's and run straight to the bathroom. There's only one stall. I lock the door and turn to find someone clogged the entire bowl with paper and ass gaskets. I proceed to push out this ridiculous soft serve mountain on top of the soggy paper platform. Like a McDonald's ice cream cone. But speep. The entire pile is above water. I had to hover and wipe just to avoid touching it. I had no choice but to top it off with a blanket of speep tea paper. By the time I'm done, the summit is a good 3 inches above seat level. I could push that flusher 100 times and the whole structure wouldn't budge. Absolutely shameful. If anyone here is a Denny's employee in Northridge, CA that had to deal with this, I'm sorry. Used to work in a small office with 2 separate bathrooms, one on either side of our office space. Each was a tiny room with a toilet and a sink. There was a guy who without fail, about an hour or 2 after lunch, would decimate one crime scene level mess, with the odor as well, and that odor would waft outward to the nearest cubicle residents, who complained daily. He never flushed, and his excuse was that he'd read how toilets create an aerosol effect when they're flushed, which sends a cloud of mist into the air, and he refused to endure that, because who knows who else used that toilet. Which meant someone else got the honor of being sprayed with his leavings. Boss told him he had 2 choices. Flush and spray Lysol generously, which truly does little to abate the stench, or use the facilities somewhere else. I'm sorry to say he chose to go to the nearest fast food place instead. To those valiant McDonald's employees, I'm so sorry. You did not deserve that. OMG, my office at my old work was directly across from the toilet. There were 6 of us in that building and it didn't take long to figure out who our terrorist speep to was, because she came in at 8 and was in the bathroom by 8:30 without fail. At about 8:40 rolling stink clouds would permeate the complex, my office being hit the worst. But honestly it smelled so bad everyone was near to being poisoned on a daily basis. Paint peeled. Plants withered and died in the wake of the gas cloud. She ate a great deal of fried food and drank nothing but coffee and soda. At least while at work. I took to closing my office door at about 8:20 and took to rolling up a blanket to block the space between the bottom of the door, and it seemed to help at least keep the air breathable without the aid of gas masks. Other tricks we tried were putting a box of matches in each of the offices so we could strike them to cover up the stench, but those got taken away by management. I suppose they feared we'd burn the place down after being blinded by the stench and dabbing Vicks under our noses. It was truly the worst speeps I'd ever smelled, and I don't know why she couldn't retrain her bowels to erupt earlier before she left for work. Her husband probably threatened her with divorce if she didn't find someplace else to poop. As a janitor, I'd like to know the answer to this as well. Also, why poop in the urinal? Speepta was full. Merry Christmas. For me, I get confused when there's no paper, and no way in hell they had a Gustim defined. You don't know it's a ghosty without paper. They flushed once. The paper washed down, but the log didn't. Lip. There's a certain consistency of floater that will just unravel itself from all the toilet paper and hang around for infinite flushes. I have lived with one of those people. Said person would wipe, close the lid and flush. If they were in a hurry they wouldn't both reopening the lid to check. I believe it's called the fight or flight response. Lord knows I booked it out of there. What if it's so large it doesn't flush? Poop knife. Quick military story. I used to be a missile officer in the Air Force. A couple hundred times 392 to be exact in the mid-2000s. I went out to remote sites and commanded nuclear missiles, etc. Anyway, those remote sites had underground capsules replete with toilets. Some of those toilets didn't work too well on the solids. So, some of my compatriots developed a poop knife, i.e. a button knife stolen from the site's kitchen tied/taped to a plunger handle. We used the poop knife for months, maybe years, can't remember exactly. But, it cut a lot of speep down to size. Unfortunately, towards the end of my career going to those sites, that peeping gross knife disappeared, and it was theorized that it went back into kitchen rotation. If I had to guess, it was a departing officer's way of saying peep you to some pretty frustrating, stressful duty. Everybody was wary of every butter knife for months. Can't flush it if it's on the floor, now can I? Fair play. My dude really said check and mate. Well, having had the office by the bathrooms, I can probably tell you. Mostly they just don't know that it didn't go down. Epic filled bowls take more than one flush and some people's mothers didn't raise them to check their flush. They just get up, hit the lever, hopefully wet their hands, and leave. Other people clog the toilet. In my case we had a plunger, but many bathrooms just don't for some ungodly reason. And even in our case, many people just leave because they don't know how / don't want to deal with a clogged toilet. Again, I blame bad parenting. Probably just didn't get enough hugs as a child. Oh, and there were a few people that put peeping paper towel in the toilet. Those are the cat stranglers. You really have to watch out for them. Some people like to show off. What about the people that have sticky poop where no matter how many times you flush it doesn't dislodge and you have to use another bowl? Plugging it up would be worse. Let's let it soak for a while then try. Probably the most valid question I've come across on this page yet. Working in construction and seeing some of these toilets, I need to know. Forgot my poop knife. We've all been there. Sometimes the toilet doesn't flush. It's not like I can take it back out. War crime level. Lol. If you flush a war crime away, is it really a war crime?